Careful, this has more to this than it seems. Welcome. At first, it seemed to me that the rules were applied correctly, but now I have my doubts. Many things are happening in Argentina's matches. There's a basis for this play in the rules. It has to do with something that was implemented this summer at the World Cup with this whole mistaken identity issue. But that rule that says you have to correct the card you gave because you thought it was one guy and it was the other. That is two players from the same team, a teammate and an opponent who gets fouled. You call the foul, give a yellow card to one player, but it was actually the other who kicked him. They tell you, and you realize it wasn't so and so, but his teammate. That's the point, right? Not to take away the yellow card from the player you saw do it just because they tell you it wasn't a foul. I think we're talking about different things here. I mean, to the referee. If he was mistaken about the identity, he wasn't actually wrong. What they told him from the VAR is that the foul was committed by the other guy because he was simulating, damn it. But that's what the mistaken identity rule is for. It's true, right? In the match between Paraguay and the US, something similar happened with Almiron, but that's the spirit of the rule. They call you from VAR and say the foul happened differently, but really it's not about how the foul happened. It's that you gave a yellow card to the wrong player. The one who committed the foul was someone else. Because the referee saw contact. It's another thing if Embolo tricked him, because he did trick him on the field. He fooled him. That's what happened. He doesn't fool anyone. When you go to the video, you can see that he doesn't fool anyone, obviously. So what will you do? It's just absurd that the Swiss player, already having a yellow card, gets himself into that mess. But I mean, what? Like, what world are you living in? How can you start faking fouls when you already have a yellow card? But the referee on the field didn't see it, and the referee never confused their identities at any moment. He knew who was who. I'm not sure if I'm being clear, but that's the rule's intent. A player gets a card, and it turns out that the foul was committed by someone else. Not in this case, not when they're correcting a foul that was seen incorrectly. I'm honestly stunned. Now, there are other actions to discuss, but I'll start in chronological order with the first one. The first quarterfinal match we saw this Saturday was England's. Things happened here too, like the ball hitting the cable and Norway's disallowed goal. But this is a big one, guys. This is a really big one. On two separate occasions, Jude Bellingham, who played an amazing match, scored both goals. He's having an amazing World Cup, but on two occasions, he undermines his coach. And it's not just that, it's also the way he responds. In my opinion, maybe he's right, because you can be completely right, but he's not your coach. They leave him in a position where, damn, if I were you, I'd step in and say, well, order needs to be established here. But how are you going to take out the hero of the Azteca and the hero of the match against Norway? For the next game against the Argentinians in the finals, by the way, I haven't said anything. Historic semifinals, Spain, France, England, Argentina. We'll talk about that another time when the matches get closer, because those are two absolutely great games. These are some of the best World Cup semifinals I can remember. But anyway, the thing is that Tuchel, in a flash interview, I had it around here, but I'm not going to play the whole thing. What Tuchel says is the following. They asked Tuchel, are you happy with what the team has done? And he says, in terms of attitude, the players' effort was there, but in how we've played and in the overall performance, I didn't like the performance. It can be improved a lot. And even the English journalist says to Tuchel, hey, come on, be happy. He tells him, be happy that you're in the semifinals. Yes, we'll improve. But I just didn't like it. I said it several times. In the flash interview on the field, they asked Bellingham about it. Did your coach say this? Says Bellingham. He literally gives the reporter a look that says it all. He looks at him like, it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter. As if saying, look, my coach has said another stupid thing. It doesn't matter, it doesn't matter. It's like, this guy doesn't know anything. He doesn't know what it's like to face these guys. Because in fact, he says it later. The match was tough. We were up against these guys and those others. So I don't confuse you. I'm going to give the example of now with a cool head, not in the heat of the moment, but with a cool head. Bellingham says this about his coach when he's asked about this story. Look, he's finishing the first statement here. Let's start translating setbacks.
How you can manage adversity, and this team showed yet again that they can do it, and that's team.
They've proven they can do it again. So then they ask, let's see. When they ask, is it here?
Has just been quite critical of the.
He says your coach has been very critical of the performance after the match.
They show the standards he expects, what you expect from each other, and that the team may have more to offer.
He says this reflects the standards that the coach wants and expects from the team. This one already knows what to say since he'd answered it before. Pay attention.
Maybe he doesn't know what it's like to play in those kind of conditions. They scare you.
Amazing, he says. It could be, he says, but it could also be that he doesn't know what it's like to face these conditions. To the ha.
Nothing about God news, only about the Jalan.
Odegaard only uses
News about play and show, and not at the end. We try to create a positive.
Well, what if he says, this isn't easy, is it? But when he says maybe that, and maybe he doesn't know what it's like to face these people, damn. That leaves the coach very exposed, and I don't know how far this will go. They have it in England, but in Spain or at Real Madrid, this would cause a huge mess, wouldn't it? A spectacular one, because he has left the coach exposed. Well, the point is that the match... Sorry, I have to make a camera move here. I passed behind the Mexicana and had the same problem as before. During the match, a lot of things happen, and well, let's see. The goal that was disallowed for Norway is outrageous. I don't think it's a foul by Haaland at all. He pushes him a little bit. Guys in the corner, everyone pushes. The other guy goes down very easily. That would have been 2-1 for Norway in the second half. That would have been really tough for the English. For me, well, I mean, let's see. It's something we all know, right? We're talking a lot about Argentina, but this thing with England is outrageous. And there's another thing that's also outrageous, which is that FIFA already knows who they're going to give the MVPs to. The other day, Minyamin Jamal had that bizarre guy asking him in the mixed zone, like, so were you going to give the MVP award and all that? He admits they told him to give it to Messi, and he says, well, to whoever it was. I mean, a bunch of things from FIFA that are really setting everything up, like with Valverde, Balogun, Argentina, today with England, also the way they hand out the MVPs and so on. Let's discuss the England match now, since there's a lot to cover. The thing is, look, during the match, well, in Jude Bellingham's goal, in the equalizer, this is the ball. Following this path from Milan, the Norwegian goalkeeper's kick, it travels through the air and in an unnatural movement. As if the ball slowed down. Let me see if I can lower the volume for a moment and play it. The ball suddenly, boom, drops like when a bird is flying. They shoot it and the bird just falls, right? And I don't know. Is it Harry Kane who controls it? I don't remember if it's Harry Kane who controls it. Well, and that's where England's goal starts. In the footage, in the explanation that FIFA later gave with the topic of the reader, the sensor inside the ball, look at what they put here. I don't think I can zoom in. No, I can't zoom in. Wait, I think I'll be able to do it now. Okay. This is the sensor, okay? It's better to do it with corn. Oh, from the touch. The soccer player's back. Let's see if he gets there soon. When he's about to control it, that's when the peak happens. That's the peak, right? Before that, there's nothing. The vibrations come from the air. It's really striking that the other day, by a hair, there was just barely a spike on the sensor graph. And today, when he hits a cable, because Fox later admitted that he did touch the cable, that peak doesn't show up. What's more, the spider cam, because it's the spider cam in the stadium, if FIFA wanted to show everything, they'd show the camera shaking because the spider cam is recording it. The director has that footage to show it whenever he wants. And yet that hasn't been shown. We're supposed to believe the sensor can detect a single hair on a Croatian player the other day, but it can't detect the impact against a cable. It's something that's invisible because they're transparent cables, but it's something thick with a lot of tension. I mean, the ball must have felt that. Man, the sensor should have detected it. Damn, the ball even changes direction. Something really strange. That play should have been ruled out. But of course, imagine the uproar, right? The uproar there would have been if you disallowed a goal for England because of that. But FIFA didn't want to get involved in that. And FIFA doesn't want to give many explanations. And it's incredible. Well, Solbakken, Norway's coach, was talking about this topic and he said that he saw it immediately. Here we have it for a moment. I had Solbakken's clip here, and I think I've already lost it. Anyway, well, the point is that the coach said this. And indeed, I think Norway got cheated here. Let me know what you think in the comment box. I thought I had the clip of Norway's coach, but I don't. Well, here are the highlights from the Argentina match. Look, I'm going to start with one where they didn't call what they should have called, okay? So later, no one can say anything to me. Here, the Swiss player does this to Nico Gonzalez, who is the same one that did it to Carvajal in the derby almost a year ago, remember? Well, I guess that evens it out, right? But he really hits him hard. He steps on him, which is at least a yellow card. The referee didn't even call a foul. Still, this is really the only thing Argentina can complain about. Well, if we have to remember a similar play, look, there's Messi's from the first match day of this World Cup, right? That's right. It's about Embolo. Like I said at the beginning, and here this TouchMind account, TouchMind says something similar. That mistaken identity review should be used when there's confusion over which player it was and not to redo a foul call. That's what was really done. Redoing the call, redoing the foul call. By the way, the Swiss were also complaining about this. Look, for example, a comparable one by Mac McAllister on a Swiss player. He steps on him, and in what a way, just like what they did to Nico Gonzalez. And yet, well, McAllister didn't get a yellow card here either. Damn, here's Solbakken. I'm not showing it anymore. The thing is, it said what I told you. It said, this is Embolo's move. Honestly, he does it terribly. He does it terribly because he starts to dive. He starts to dive way too early and tries to draw a contact. He's already diving there. Maybe this is the worst angle. He's already diving when the Argentine player hasn't even touched him yet, and he goes against him. It's an attempt. It's a simulation trying to get a foul called on the opponent and to get the opponent a yellow card. Pretty crude. And well, if the referee had seen it on the field, he would have penalized it, but he didn't see it. And as this account called Error Arbitral says, don't be fooled by the marketing in favor of Argentina. VAR was misapplied in Embolo's sending off. Mistaken identity is one of the situations where VAR can be used to correct the identity of the cautioned player. Not to re-referee plays. That is, if player X commits a yellow card foul and the referee mistakenly cautions player Y, VAR should tell him to remove the yellow from Y and give it to X. It can't be used for anything else, as the rule literally states. Now, there will be those who can accept it. Well, wait, the thing about Paraguay. He says those who can't accept the truth will say, but they already did this to Paraguay against the United States. It's already been checked, and so on. It's just that I think the Paraguay situation was just as badly refereed. No. Thinking about it again, this is what the rule says. Mistaken identity, red card or yellow card. If the referee calls a foul but has clearly mistaken the identity of the player who committed it, only the identity of the offender can be reviewed. It's just that it's really on the edge of interpreting the rule, because I think here it's about interpreting the rule. What happens is that there's already a precedent in the same World Cup. The Swiss were also asking us for a yellow card for Lisandro Martinez. Sorry, not a yellow card. A penalty by Lisandro Martinez on Embolo when he was in alone on goal. I think there's a fair challenge, even though it's afterwards. Although it's true that later Lisandro Martinez puts his arm a little on the Swiss player. He pushes him a little, but only after making the fair challenge, and it's also really borderline as a foul. I mean, as a penalty. VAR didn't review it either. Here, VAR wasn't involved either. So today, Argentina can't complain about anything except for that foul on Nico Gonzalez, nothing else. And yet the Swiss do have things to complain about. And among them, what seems most serious to me, because this one is really obvious, is about Lautaro Martinez not getting a yellow card when he celebrates the goal that made it 3-1, goes up into the stands and hugs the fans. Damn, it's just like with Sor. Same thing with Sor, like the derby last year, the Real Madrid derby, the Madrid derby. Same thing here. It comes down to interpretation. Did it create any danger? Any dangerous situation from a safety standpoint? Well, it's the referee's interpretation, guys. Well, that's it. Here they think it's not, but he could have thought it was. And we're back to the same old thing. Because then these kinds of situations always go the same way. You guys think that if Messi, well, I think Messi isn't as dumb as this guy to fake it, to start acting if there's a yellow card. But Messi made a reckless move, like his tackle on the Algerian player in the first match. But do you guys really think that if that happens with Messi, if it's Messi and not Embolo, would they send Messi off? Come on, impossible, impossible. And that's what people are complaining about. But anyway, I also think that people are exaggerating a bit too much about that issue. I think that... Look, Switzerland was actually playing much better when it was 11 against 11 against Argentina. Much better. Although a match is like a movie, there are moments in a match when things turn around. I think Argentina has more quality than Switzerland, even though they haven't played well or very well against practically anyone yet. The thing is, look, in the group stage, it was Algeria, Austria, Jordan, and they just barely got through against Cape Verde, Egypt, and Switzerland. In extra time, not against Egypt. They won in regulation time, but with that situation and coming from behind. I mean, out of the 4 teams that made it to the semifinals, for me, they're the one in the worst shape. But they're the reigning champions. They're the ones who are the most emotionally and mentally locked in because of how they've won these matches, even if it was against weaker opponents, since they haven't faced any team from the world's top 15. From the FIFA top 15 from the FIFA ranking. It's unbelievable. The rest have. Argentina hasn't. And yet people still say, no, Spain, who have they faced? Damn it. Well, Austria. Okay, let's leave Austria out. Belgium and Portugal, both in the top 10. Argentina, all ranked outside the top 15. It's true that the path could have been different if Portugal had done their job, if Uruguay had done their job, of course. But well, these are facts, objective facts. They made it to the semifinals. Having the worst performance, as Tuchel said, the worst football performances among the 4 teams that qualified. But with that emotional edge, and that's very important. That's very important. An amazing match against England and Spain versus France, which we'll discuss later. Otherwise, I'll lose my voice. Take care, like if you enjoyed it. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, comment, share, and hype it up. Thanks. See you next time. Have a great Sunday. Bye.